This is the Felt SPORTe Step-Thru. It's very similar to the standard SPORTe, which is a high step, and this one's a low step, so it's a little bit more approachable if you're someone who's a shorter person, lower inseam, that kind of thing. Comes in a couple of different sizes. This is a 49, there's also a 44, so you get two choices there. The high step version comes in 4 frame sizes, so really between the two versions of the SPORTe, you can set this up just perfectly for your body type, which of course makes it more fun to ride and just comfortable over longer distances. And that's great because this bike is so efficient, just the way that it's set up. Maybe the first thing you'll notice is that the tires are relatively narrow. These are sort of like hybrid, almost like road bike tires. They're skinny, they're gonna coast really efficiently, and they're larger in terms of the diameter. So, that's going to help you, gives you a higher attack angle, getting over bumps and cracks. And that's nice because it smooths the ride out a little bit. Overall, this isn't the most comfortable bike to ride on like a dirt path or whatnot because there's no suspension. I must say that the Cell Royale saddle does help a little bit. It's kind of a gel saddle, and apparently it's supposed to stay relatively cool, like a little bit cooler than the ambient temperature, even though it's black. In my time riding, it's felt pretty comfortable, and that is sort of a name brand premium product right there, and that's really what you see all throughout this bike. So before I go too much further, I also love that these tires have this nice reflective sidewall. The sizing on them is 28 by 1.25 inches at 700 by 32C, and they've got this sort of medium dish, deep dish rim design. It's a little bit more aerodynamic and just kind of gives the bike this nice racing feel. Felt is known for racing, and they're a premium bicycle frame manufacturer, and this is really the first time they're getting into electric bikes. This is a 2015 model. They are using the Bosch Generation 2 drive system, which is just awesome, and I'll get into that a little bit more in the future of this review, but I want to highlight this Shimano Diore XT derailleur. That's pretty high end. You've got 10 speeds in the rear cassette, and that's excellent because there is really only one sprocket up front. And so 10 speeds total. With the lowest speed, of course, you're going to be able to climb a little bit easier, and the higher speeds, you're going to be able to get this thing going, really racing through town, down hills, that kind of thing. Or you can turn this into a bit of a commuter because it does have bosses right here for adding a rack, a carry rack, and also for adding fenders if you want to. So you can outfit this thing just in a number of different ways and really make it your own. I love that in addition to these higher end drivetrain components, they've also added this sort of protective cover. Under this is a little chain ring, but by putting this just, short plastic piece, you're going to protect your pants or your dress or whatever from touching that chain, which is really nice. I haven't seen that on too many other electric bikes with the Bosch system, but it's great. Got these felt crank arms, plastic, a little bit wider platform pedals here with the rubber grip. They're all right. If they get wet, they could get a little bit more slippery, but they aren't just standard. They're a little bit upgraded, which is nice. 7005 aluminum frame, sort of this tapered head tube right there. All the wires are run through the frame, so this bike has a really nice clean aesthetic. 160 millimeter disc brake rotors, and those are hydraulic disc brakes, Shimano, so you only really have to use 1 or 2 fingers to activate them. They're very smooth, gives you tons of stopping power. Also, like these ergo grips, they don't have lockers on them, so they can spin a little bit more like that, but given that they're not like half grips with a twist throttle or something, I mean, they work well enough, and they do match this nice gloss red black frame very, very nicely. Also love that they included a kickstand, and of course you've got quick release front and rear, and that is possible because they're using a mid-drive system. So one of the beautiful things about any mid-drive electric bike is that all of the electric drive systems, they're right there separated from the bike components. You could take this into a bike shop and say, oh, my wheel is out of true, oh, my tube got a puncture, my tires need to be replaced, they're wearing out, and they can just service it like a normal bicycle. So that's a huge advantage. And of course, as you switch gears through those 10 speeds, you're going to get more efficiency as a rider, and the motor's going to benefit too, because it's pulling that same chain and benefiting from that drivetrain. So it's just awesome. This thing has like about a 65-mile range on the lowest level of assist, varying by terrain. You know, if you're going up hills all day or whatever, it might be a little bit less, but in my experience, it's been phenomenal in terms of range, and that's compliment to the Bosch system. Of course, when you made it to an excellent platform like this that weighs under 40 pounds, you know, you achieve even higher efficiency. The frame is very stiff, it's just light, it's super balanced, all the electronics are right there, low and center, so that's awesome. The Bosch motor, Gen 2, 350 watt geared, that's what we're looking at right there, and it's powered by this Power Pack 400, that's 400 watt hours, but basically it's 36 volts, which is, you know, pretty decent, 11 amp hours. Again, removable, super convenient to charge this thing. You could take it off and ride this bike around like a normal bike. And, you know, it's going to be a little bit heavier than a normal city bike because that motor there is adding an extra 6 pounds, but the battery is like 8 or 9 pounds. So taking that off, if you're putting this on a bike rack or you're just lifting it upstairs or something, it's really nice that it's set up that way. And the locking core is pretty solid. That's actually done by Abus, which is known for doing really good locks and stuff. So I think that gives you a pretty good overview of the bike. Let's talk a little bit about the drive system. First of all, this is the display. It is removable, just like that. And that's super cool because if you gotta use this for commuting and parking it outside or something, it's nice to take this out of the weather and also just keep people from tampering with it. When you pop it back on like that, you've got a nice big readout here that shows your speed, miles per hour, and then a number of different menu items here. So right now it says trip time. We can cycle through with I here, or on this nice breakout button pad that's easy to reach. So we've got range. I'm gonna come back to that. Odometer, trip distance, clock, max speed, average speed, trip time, and back to range. So if I go all the way down to 0, the bike doesn't assist me, it doesn't do anything, it's just, I'm getting a nice display here. It's telling me how fast I'm going, how much battery is left. As soon as I click up with that plus button to Eco, now it's gonna estimate my range. I should say, if you are someone who wants to improve the ride quality a little bit, you could always add like a thud buster, and there are a few different designs out there of seat post suspension to smooth things out. So back to the display. Press plus again, we got Tour, 37 miles, Sport, 30 miles, Turbo, 27 miles. And again, the battery's not even fully charged, so it's just awesome. Of course, you've got the battery indicator, your speed right there. It's very simple. There's no throttle on this, so sometimes people think of electric bikes like, oh, it's like a scooter or something. It's not the case. This system, instead of giving you a throttle control, it listens to how you're riding and then it complements that. So inside of this motor system here, there's a torque sensor and there's also a cadence sensor that measures how fast you're pedaling. In addition to that, there's this little magnetic sensor right back here on the spoke, passes this little sensor right here. It tells the bike how fast you're going. So really there are 3 inputs that this bike is taking into consideration. And you'll notice when I do the ride test how quickly it responds as soon as you pedal. And that's just an excellent feeling. And it sort of, I think it makes it a little bit safer too, because if you need to stop, like as soon as you stop pedaling, the bike very quickly responds. So let's hop on it. I'll give you a quick test ride. I'm just gonna try to pedal it up on the grass here. Probably not the most comfortable ride, but definitely capable. I'm in turbo right now. You can see I'm just climbing no problem. I'm not even standing up. Woo. Very nice. This is where it's really meant to be ridden, on this nice tarmac here. You might have heard it cut out because now we're at 20 miles per hour, and that is the legal top speed for low-speed electric bikes. And you get there so fast on this thing, it's just so efficient. I'm gonna take it back this way a little bit. It's a little bit more of an aggressive angle. You know, you're leaning forward a bit more, but that's also what gives you the efficiency and that standard around town riding kind of feel. So yeah, that is the Felt SPORTe Step-Thru. Again, 2 sizes in that, For the full write-up, including all the specs on this, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.